Many of us strive to be the best versions of ourselves in the workplace. We set seemingly impossible goals. We battle to achieve them. Often in that pursuit, we forget to take the same level of care and diligence with ourselves and with the ones we love the most. LodeStar is about those moments, the ones that shape go-to-market journeys and the humans behind them. We'll dive into the wins, the mistakes, and the lessons that don't fit neatly into a playbook.
Hi everyone, Cliff Simon here. I'm joined by Morgan J. Ingram, the founder of AMP. Thanks so much for being on the show.
Happy to be here.
Awesome, man. Why don't you tell the folks what you're doing there? What are you building?
Yeah, so what I'm building right now is we're taking people from social to selling. So what we've seen over the past couple of years is that obviously outbound is getting more difficult. It's harder to get in front of brands. It's harder to create content. And so as I started diving deeply and talking to revenue organizations and also just the platform itself and understanding what they're doing, I saw that there needs to be more education around how do you actually generate leads on the platform the right way and build the right relationships. And then obviously, how do you have pipeline development once you've obviously built that pipeline? And then how do you make sure people are aware of you by creating the content? So we're really diving in and helping people understand LinkedIn so they can build that quality pipeline.
What's the size of the team now?
Yeah, so the size of the team right now is I have 4 people full-time, and then everyone else is contracted. So the way that I think about things, and we probably continuously see this a lot, is people are trying to figure out how do I be as lean as possible and then have contractors, and then Allen Iverson AI does all the rest, right? So that's literally the conversation people are having right now. Just like, oh, AI, like, okay, I get it, whatever. So the thing though I'm trying to focus on is how do I find people that truly want to be a part of this journey? They want to own that process and we can maximize it. And then we can get contractors to do other things instead of bringing those people on full time. Because sometimes you don't actually need that.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah.
Speaking about like the things that are working, you guys just this year made a pretty drastic change in your service offerings.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about that a bit?
The thing is, I've been doing a lot of research on very successful founders and why their companies are successful. One of them I've been paying attention to a lot is Bezos and then Howard Schultz. So from Schultz's perspective, Starbucks, right? Everybody knows what that is and things of nature. They're known for their coffee and for their stores, but they actually try to do other things, right? They try to spin up other products. And the R&D and the implementation that they actually put into those products, even though they were Starbucks, actually reduced their revenue over time and actually cut into their labor costs as a whole. And so I really saw that as like, well, this was Starbucks. Like you get to a point where like, I could just drop whatever. Clearly not, right? And so other people have also seen this as well from other company standpoint. So I just like took a step back. I went to Alex Hormozy workshop in late October. And that was the conversation. It's like, what is the one product, service, one avatar, one platform? How do we condense this down? The thing is that we just have a lot of talented people on our team that can do video editing. We can do podcast clips. We can create content for you. We can do ghostwriting. We can do sales training. We can do a lot. But I was like, what can we be known for unequivocally in the market and be super successful at? And that's a hard conversation to have because you think that you can do everything, but you actually limit yourself because people don't know what you are doing, and then it causes confusion in the market. So I could talk about what we're doing now on the services side, but we had to narrow that down because I just started realizing that like we're doing a lot, but like, is it actually helping us? Not really.
So since you've made that pivot, what has been the change commercially?
So the change now is I went to a do it with you model. And so essentially with that is going back to the core fundamentals of what I know with sales teams and how to actually train them, but it's not training, it's more coaching. Ultimately in the day, what I've realized in most sales teams you work with, or just in general, anyone you work with, if you come in one day and say, hey, this is super cool, like here's all the tactics, the likelihood of them being successful is extremely low. It's like 84% of the information done within a day, they're going to forget. That's the worst statistic I think of all time. So it's bad.
In one ear, out the other.
100%. That's literally the stats, right? So I also saw that LinkedIn, it was a huge pain point because I talked to probably 50, 100 teams. Their lowest channel of conversion for outbound is LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the highest?
Cold calling. Email is just like whatever. People are just kind of whatever about it right now. You know, they might outsource an agency to run email campaigns. Somebody told me that they're actually ITs running the cold emails. Their sales team's not even touching it right now, and they just have a copywriter and they have IT running campaigns in the background. This is what's happening, right? So
wow, because they don't want to burn the domain, or
because they're buying new domains.
Oh god,
right? So they're buying new domains. Their domains got flagged. They're a company that was blasting, and now they can't get any reach, and so the sales team doesn't know what to do. So the IT team comes into play, and now they're running this execution play. So the sales team's not even touching email. So they're trying to understand LinkedIn. And I'll come to the conclusion of the service because this is like market research and being in the market. The thing is, most people don't know how to use LinkedIn because they didn't have to use it. So think about it. A chief revenue officer, a VP of sales, they didn't have to, there wasn't LinkedIn. You didn't sell on LinkedIn. You're doing cold callings, you're doing cold email, you might be doing door to door. LinkedIn wasn't a viable channel to sell on there yet. So the level of information and education you have on is low because you didn't do it. And then you're a C-suite now, you probably don't have time to figure that out. And so it goes by the wayside. So now it's like
you're relying on your deputies, your VPs, your directors to go in and
correct.
Yeah.
But then they also don't. So it's a huge gap in market. So that's what I saw. I was like, Bezos was like, yo, I watched a business interview. He was like, you need to think about what's gonna be around no matter what. LinkedIn's not gonna go anywhere because Microsoft owns it. Microsoft has the second highest market cap in the entire world. They got a lot of cash. They're not gonna just let it die.
Well, and there's no competitor.
And if there was Microsoft, they're just gonna pump more money into it, and it's gonna be hard to beat them, right? So I just looked at I watched these interviews, I looked at the facts and realized this is the focus. So now our main focus, going to sales teams, taking them from outbound to revenue, from social selling, and then guiding them through lead generation for LinkedIn, helping them with sales nav, and then helping them create content. Because if you have content and outbound converge together, you're gonna have a higher successful output, you're gonna have higher quality leads, and you're gonna be able to have a good pipeline development. So that's the main focus now. And then I still do brand deals and things of that nature, but that's the main core function because that's an actual need in market. It still helps them, and we can still help executives on what we were doing earlier, but that's like our entry into that company to help them.
Because you're doing this for so many companies, I'm sure there's a bunch of patterns that you're seeing.
Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
bad patterns, good patterns. Just
the idea is what's working, right? So I think, let's start off with like, what if people try that's terrible, other than I think the very standard like pitch slapping, et cetera. And then let's transition into like what's actually working.
Something I tell people to stay away from it is like immediately going automation because most people have bad inputs. So stop having bad inputs. So ultimately the day, like that's what it is. Like it's like I want to scale and I want to automate. And then I'm like, okay, cool. Have you gotten any responses on LinkedIn? No. Okay, so what are you gonna automate?
Automating a broken process.
What are you automating? You don't even have success manually. There's no reason to automate something if you have no success manually. It makes no sense.
Have you even done the baseline piece of actually understanding your ICP and narrowing that down and then finding the appropriate positioning and messaging?
Optimizing your LinkedIn profile. Most people's LinkedIn profile isn't optimized as a landing page. It's optimized as a resume. So when people look at your profile, it's not optimized for conversion. And I was actually telling somebody this. It's like, if you think about this crazy math, I was like in a talk earlier this week and I said, look, imagine you have 100 sales reps, right? Let's say they had 100 profile views. So 100 times 100 is, I was waiting for you to do the math because I'm not doing it.
10,000.
I'm not doing the math. 10,000, right? Okay, that's like baseline. That's like 10,000 views. So imagine if you did 100, you have 100 sales reps and they had 1,000 views, 100,000. So every month you have 100,000 views that you're getting and you're not optimizing for it.
You're not even trying to drive conversion on it.
You're not even trying to drive conversion.
Or redirecting them into somewhere else.
So I think a lot of people would want 100,000 views on their site per month, but you're actually already getting that on LinkedIn and you're not optimizing for it. Why? That's the mistake I'm seeing. People are just like, oh, I have a LinkedIn profile. Okay, what are you doing with it? Like, is it optimized for people to look at it? It's not even if people are commenting or engaging or posting. It's like people are going to lurk. There are 1 billion users on the platform. So people are lurking. They may not be posting. I get that. But like, they're still going to come check out your profile when you send them an email or a call or a LinkedIn message. They're going to check you out. 67% of people check out your profile before they take a meeting. So like, you need to optimize for that just based on the data. So that's like the mistakes I'm seeing. People want to automate way too early. People don't have their LinkedIn profiles done. And they're also aren't engaging, commenting, and they're also not doing any type of videos or voice notes or things of that nature. So they're just really they're just treating it as like a checkbox instead of like this is part of your engine that you can use to generate pipeline.
So when it comes to like creating just even like your LinkedIn profile as a landing page, something to be able to generate interest and or convert interest. What are a couple quick tips?
Okay, so there's 3 main things on a profile that really only matter besides your profile picture. I'm not a photographer. I'm not a design person. Just look presentable. Don't look like you're interrogated. Super simple. So the first thing is the headline. So the framework for a headline is what is your value framework? So that basically is like, how do you help an organization? Do you mitigate cybersecurity risks? Do you help people with email conversions? Do you help people like process the funnel faster, whatever, right? Then the second thing is like that is where then you insert your job title. If you're a CEO, you're gonna get higher views, you're gonna get higher acceptance rates. It's just the way that it is. It's a framing thing. And then the third part is the call to action. Your call to action should go to the second piece, which is your featured section. Most people miss out on this section. So you can put links there, you can put photos there, you can put anything. I recommend people to put 1 or 2 pieces here, nothing more. You can put a direct booking link, like, hey, book a call me, cool. You can put a case study there. You could put a video clip there. You could put a lead magnet. It depends on your industry and like what they care about, but you pick that there. And then the third thing is your experience. So inside of your experience, you want to put in media. So you could actually put in case studies there, testimonials, because someone's going to look at your job title. They're going to look at your company. And if they see the case studies there, it just adds further proof points. The cover, kind of the bonus here is the cover image, kind of the banner. You can use that to then point to more call to actions if you want. But for most people that are selling, I would just say, make sure your logo's there. What is your company about? And that's all really it.
Or, if you've been on stage, get one of those fun shots.
Hey, look, I love the stage one, shout out, hey, look, I'm on stage. I'm here, right? Pull up on them. But for the most part, that's really it. The about section, I know people are going to probably, why didn't you mention that one? I don't think it's as important, to be honest, but like, I would just basically like what I do, who I serve, call to action, make it super simple.
Okay. And then what about like the messaging? And you said when you're connecting with somebody or when you're reaching out to somebody, don't automatically put them into a sequence. What should they be doing?
Okay, so this is where I've actually gotten a lot of heated debates about this one. So for everyone that is gonna disagree with me, you're wrong. So the thing is, I've literally trained 10, 50,000 reps at this, a lot, in multiple countries, in multiple regions. And we were A/B testing, how do people actually accept connection requests? Like, what actually works? When you send a connection request, your goal is just to get them to accept. That's the main goal. There really isn't anything else. That's the premise of what you're doing. So what we did is we run multiple A/B tests, and we found that the blank connection request leads to higher acceptance rates. So I tell people, send a blank connection request. But then most people get in a tizzy about this. They're like, well, you need to personalize. Then you need to go look at their comment. And then I'm like, okay, well, I wish this was the case. I wish 90% of people posted on LinkedIn. I would love that, but they don't. 1 to 3% of people post on LinkedIn out of 1 billion people. If you actually go inside of Sales Nav, if you look at posts in the last 30 days, only, I think it was like 38 million, 40 million have posted. That's like 0.001% if I'm doing the math right again. I'm doing math publicly. This is bad for me. But like, I think this is right. 0.01%.
I was told by a wise person once, never do math in public.
I'm doing a lot of math. Y'all when you watch this, you have your calculators. You can fact check me. Like, just do the math by yourself. But the thing is, like, it's super low. So the likelihood of someone that has posted and done something on LinkedIn is factually low. And you have a higher risk of doing a personalization because of AI. Because they're going to be like, this is AI, you're not real, and I'm going to ignore you. And everyone else who sent something personalized, like, hey, we breathe the same air, let's connect today. Like, we've seen it so many times, so people will get ignored to it. That's why the blank request is important. Then you get them to accept. Once they've accepted, you have 3 different path points. So when I coach people, I tell them there isn't always like a silver bullet with most things, is there's paths you can take. So 1, you send a video. 3 days later, you send a video. You can run my 10-30-10 formula. So that's like, here's the reason why I'm reaching out to you. Here's the value prop of what we offer. And then a call to action to the next step. Super straightforward. Video needs to be less than 50 seconds. You need to make sure in a well-lit area. Do it. I would recommend actually doing it on your iPhone. If you use another tool, you can, but I know the software tools won't like this, but if you use a software tool on LinkedIn, it actually creates more friction. Because if I send you a link of a video, you now have to click the link. Then you have to click inside of the video in the link to then play the video. So that's 2 clicks. Versus if I send it on a phone, it actually is an autoplay. So as soon as you open it, it starts playing. You don't have to click.
And you don't have to worry about file formatting or anything else.
I don't have to worry about anything.
Even freaking sending a photo. Like
that's it. So that's the only reason I say that, until they change the mechanism inside the messenger. So anyways, you send that video. So that's 1. 2, you can send a voice note. I know some people don't like voice notes, but again, like
it stands out.
It stands out. And also when you do something, you also, this is going to sound crazy, but you actually shouldn't be thinking about yourself, because some people actually like the voice note. Even though you may not like it, that person actually might like it. And the emails that we're sending that were really good, they might not read their emails. And I saw someone like, they had like 70,000 unread emails. It's like, holy crap. So like, clearly this isn't going to work. What do you have? Actually, let's see. Yeah, that's a lot. 26? See, 26,000. So that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's personal work together.
Like, that's crazy though. And then another one I do is like, I call them spark questions. So this just gets a conversation started. You're not even directly selling. So let's say, for example, I might be like, Cliff, I actually was talking to a CRO last week, and they were telling me that like their LinkedIn usage is super low. Is that something that you're seeing right now? So boom, I'm just sparking a conversation like, oh, and I literally was doing this morning. It's like, oh yeah, we were having a conversation about that this morning, or I was having a conversation about last week. And then now I can ask my learning questions to actually book the meeting. So that's how you get started. The bonus things here are, if they actually do post, literally just copy their post, send it to them in the DM, and then comment on that actual post. And then now you start a conversation. But those are the other ways to do it.
Look, real things that you can do. Oh my God. All right. So obviously this is working for you and for your clients. What other trends are you seeing there on LinkedIn?
Something really interesting is when you're on LinkedIn to optimize your profile views. So this is crazy. So Instagram, to a degree, you can't do this on TikTok, X, Facebook, or Meta now. You can't see anyone who views your profile. LinkedIn is the only platform that you actually can see who views your profile. This is the most underrated thing in the entire world. Like, anyone actually could listen to this right now. Actually, do this right now. Go to your profile views, click it, and go see all the people that are potential ICP and reach out to them. Again, there are 1 billion users on the platform, and someone decided to click on your profile. That is a clear interest signal of something. Now, someone could have accidentally clicked it, whatever, but it means something. So what I teach people now is saying, okay, when someone views your profile, just say, hi, Bobby, saw you view my profile. What caught your eye? That's it. So something would have caught their attention. The content, maybe they saw you somewhere, whatever, right? That's going to lead to that success. So I see a lot more people diving into that. I would say number 2 is leveraging SalesNav, if you have it, to look at people who have posted in the last 30 days. I mentioned this already, but actually using that as an active signal to people you reach out on LinkedIn. So if you want to break into an account, even an enterprise account, go look at who's posted in the last 30 days, send them connection requests. Your connection request acceptance rate will be higher. Because it will be higher, you now have more mutual connections, which most people don't really think about on LinkedIn. But if I have a lot of mutual connections with someone, that means I'm actually more willing to connect with you.
Or like, I know at least for me, when I see someone sends me a connection request and I see a name of somebody that I really trust, or that like we have a lot in common or something, like I'm far more likely if I see one of those names to just hit yes, even if I don't know the person and I haven't even looked at their profile. Social proof.
You're building social proof. You're building that thing. You're looking at active connections, right? Because then that will correlate to the actual responses that you're looking at. I would say the last thing that I've seen an uptick on is people starting to create content, but not in a way where it's like, I need to like create a piece of content every single day, but more like truly being a curator is what I call it. So this is like taking insights from interviews or things of that nature, obviously leveraging AI to find these interviews and then providing your insights on that. So those are just little things you can get started with.
Yeah, some of that automation stuff that you shared with me on Perplexity, I was like, whoa.
Oh, actually, I got that was scratching the surface. I can show you some stuff later. Like there's a crazier stuff on there when it comes to AI and prompts. Like at this point, to be fair, like if you are in revenue and you don't understand the basics of AI, you're in trouble. That's basically from everything I've learned, and I spend probably 2 hours a day in it. If you don't understand it, like you're in trouble. That's just like my whole entire take. And that doesn't mean you're getting replaced. It just means that like you're just gonna be in trouble because the people who understand it are just gonna move so much faster, especially with deep research now. Dude, I did deep research I wanted just to see, and I was like, all right, how much does LeBron spend on his body every single year? And it's like $1 million or something like that, right? But then it told me like where and how.
That's a little wild.
I know. So then I was like,
Okay, so LinkedIn, obviously, this incredible channel, underutilized by most people.
yeah.
How does building out brand there help affect the rest of the multi-channel approach into email, into cold calling, into in-person events, community, however else you want to look at it?
Yeah. So first and foremost, we talked about this like ICP. Like you need to make sure that your ICP lives on this platform. So like if they don't, then what I'm saying might not be as applicable, to be fair, right? So I think that's important. So, but if you've identified that your ICP is active in there or they're on there, then it's going to increase this. And I've seen it across the board is that if you have a LinkedIn connection request as your first thing, or you're personally reaching out to people on LinkedIn, like by product, they have visibility on who you are. Because right, most people may have a signature in their photo in their email, but like most people don't, due to IT and security. So if you call someone or email and they don't know your face, they don't know you at all. But if you're on LinkedIn, they can see your face, there's commonality, they can look at your profile, etc. So by creating, I like to call this halo effect, it allows people to understand who you are. Have you seen the movie Focus?
I don't think I have.
Okay, so I don't want to if you all want to watch this movie, I highly encourage it. It's Will Smith, Margot Robbie.
Okay, yeah. I've seen.
You just got hype off more. Like, I mean, I'm hype about it too. I get it.
I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen the whole thing, but yeah.
Will Smith plants seeds for this guy he's making a big bet with because he basically was betting on something, and he primed him along the way by showing him certain things before he made the bet. I don't want to spoil it because it's a good thing. I don't want to completely spoil it for you if you decide to watch it. But basically, he just primed him along the way, but he created a halo effect. He like put things along the way. The touch point wasn't the final touch point, but he saw it so many times that he came to that conclusion himself. So if you're on LinkedIn, let's say 20% of your sales team creates content, you have 2 executives creating content, and you're consistent, you create a halo effect. Because when certain problem comes up, you are the solution because people kept seeing you. And I even saw this when I was an SDR creating content when I was at Terminus. Like that happened a lot, and I wasn't even talking about Terminus. So you can be more intentional now.
If you were brand new to GTM today, brand new, you're like fresh out of diapers, man. What should you be practicing and doing to set yourself up for success? Like it was 2014 to 2018.
Can I just veto this question?
No. I know there's a lot of angles here.
It's not going to be the exact same. Depends on your market and depends on your industry before I say anything. But this is what I would do. So we're actually going to go back to AI. The very first thing that I would do, it's way too long of a prompt for me to even say this right now, but I have a prompt that basically can break down the demographics, the pain points, the discovery questions, and the psychographics of an ICP. And for context, psychographics is like the psychology of what they do outside of work.
Okay.
So what do they get into? What are they about? What are the deep internal
So
psychological
for
triggers
that
they
particular person, not necessary for a persona.
It's going to take data points from everything that persona has filled out across multiple different databases and come to a concordant answer.
Okay.
So it's going to be able to give you something okay, solid. Not the best, right? But it's going to be something solid. So I would start there. Because before we do anything, we need to figure out who we're talking to. So then that's the first thing that I would do. But before we actually do the last bit of that prompt, I would actually go find 5 other companies that I want to be similar with, or my competitors, right? A competing product or whatever it is. And then I would input what their personas are on their website and their case studies. And I'd put them in there too. To be like, hey, this is like the people that they typically sell to. This is a long prompt, but it's going to give you a lot of data. So to that point, it's like, okay, then the next thing I would say is based on this data that we have, who are the first 100 people that we need to go talk to, or companies, or whatever. So then it'll give you the 100. Then the next step I'm taking is I'm going to go on LinkedIn and I'm going to figure out, do I know people at these companies already? And do I have people who can intro to me these companies, right? Because now we can get referrals and intros and pick up speed. And you can basically try to start selling into them, but also you can start having just conversations. Be like, hey, I'm doing some research on X. I just want to see if this is happening and want to see if you're open to chatting. Super simple. So now I'm having selling conversations, but I'm having research conversations. And I can balance out my offer to see if it's good or not. And then once I understand, does my product or service or whatever you're doing, now I can start figuring out what are the right discovery questions in those calls. I'm starting to have really good answers on those calls. And now I can actually start like moving forward in that GTM motion. And then ultimately, once I figure out what the pain points are, I then would articulate that into content. And then you need to figure out who's going to be the lead of that content. So is it going to be the founder? Is it going to be like your head of sales? Is it going to be your VP of IT? It depends what you're selling. But then you need to figure out what you're delivering that on. So is that video? Is that text format? Like, what are the people comfortable with? And then I would start doing more of that. And then I also would be trying to do some type of, right now, a mini event so I can get more exclusive with the community, because I do believe this is not doom and gloom, but I do believe as the more uptick of content happens and the more AI continues to evolve and get better, more people want more intimate settings and community. So the more that you can actually do that, the better your obviously LTV will be, but also your acquisition will be better because like you're curating these events. And so, yeah, without knowing a lot of data, that's like the highest level of like what I would do and how I'd go about it.
So if you're an enterprising AE out there right now, I think you've just given them a roadmap on how to like go take over the world.
that was the point. I would hope.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic.
Right? Cool.
Cool.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.